And to help us turn AI from a buzzword into a business advantage, we're thrilled to welcome someone who does that each and every single day. Georgia Newton is an AI innovation strategist at Pathfindr, working with businesses across Australia to make AI real through hands-on demos, smart product development, and practical tools that streamline work and most importantly, boost our visibility. With a background in product strategy and a love of all things AI, Georgia makes the complex simple, and don't we love that? As she shows exactly how your team can use these tools each and every day. Georgia is plugged in and she is eager to get up here in front of you. Please make Georgia feel very welcome.
Thank you so much, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here. I'm a fellow Queenslander, so it's always great to attend these events and speak to my fellow state-based people. So yeah, we're going to talk all things AI. Now, I only have a 15-minute slot, so I do have to be speedy. I like to give real practical advice, so you will see some demos today. But a quick introduction to myself. So I am an AI innovation strategist, consultant. I don't really know, my title changes depending on the day and the flavor of the month. But basically, I work for Pathfindr. And Pathfindr, we do a lot of different things with AI. We do build, we educate, but the big thing we do is enablement. So Pathfindr is built on the idea that instead of having some fancy AI consultant come into your business and tell you what to do, you really should educate and upskill people on the ground in the business on how to use it, because they're going to be the best ones to know what to do with it. So that's what today's focus is really making sure you walk away with something tangible and something real that you've learned. So I'm going to go through two things today. First one being how a travel is using AI. So this very much beautifully flows on from the previous panel discussion. And then I'm going to show you a bit about how you can use AI and what's on the purview and what's coming next. So the big thing that we just heard about is that people are no longer using search. So previously, if you needed to know something, you jump into Google, Bing, whatever have you, and you'd find your answer. Oftentimes, scrolling through multiple pages, clicking on multiple links, praying that you'd find the answer. But that's not just the case with AI anymore. What's really happening is that travelers are being suggested to. So AI is trying to understand them, who they are, their demographic information, all the way down to their style, their budget, their behavior, and even their mood. And that is essentially what creates those suggestions and those recommendations. And that means we're switching away from just trying to compete for keywords, and you're really trying to now think about relevance, think about how well your story as a business or a destination, or as a department or as a council, how well that matches with the travelers you're trying to attract. And that means that more important than ever, you have to think about how it is that you're talking about yourself, how it is you're describing and showing yourself online as well. So if we think about the difference between Google and something like ChatGPT, which is a large language model provider, like the panel beforehand, there's heaps of them on the market. The difference really is about how it talks to that end person, that end user. So if you think about Google, based on the technology at the time, it was trying to keyword match, which meant that it basically tries to list all the popular places. So if you think about a traditional guidebook, it's, the top restaurants and hotels, people often pay to be in there, and that's just not the case anymore. What ChatGPT or LLM equivalent is trying to do is essentially be your companion to produce recommendations that matter most to you. So it's really stepping about trying to appeal to everyone, to try and appeal to your customers. And that means that now more than ever, it's important for you to know who your customers are or who you want them to be. So let's see it in action. So usually I do live demos for these things, but with 15 minutes, I thought I would keep things sharp and just show you a video. So here I'm just saying that I'm a solo traveler. I'm looking for somewhere in Queensland for adventure, and it's giving me recommendations, a lot of action up in the Great Barrier Reef, doing some diving as well. So it's good, it's planned out my 5 days. I could ask for hotel recommendations. You're now even seeing, experiences where you can book accommodation but purchase flights all within an app like this. But let's also then try something else. So all I'm doing is just changing that initial prompt, that initial request I ask. And instead of saying I'm single and I'm looking at adventure, I'm going to say I'm a couple and I'm looking for luxury and luxurious and relaxing getaway. And all of a sudden is a very slight change to what I've asked. The way in which it responds, the suggestions it gives, are dramatically different. So instantly, everything's different. It's the same app, but it's a different plan, it's a different pace, and it's a different tone. Same tool. So the biggest mindset shift that you're experiencing in tourism, in any industry, when it comes to customers finding you, it's about creating content that doesn't flood the internet, but speaks to that end customer that you're really trying to connect with. So now more than ever, you have to make sure you understand traveler intent. So why are they coming to you? What was it that sparked their interest? What are they looking for? And all of that. Great example being, I love traveling with my dogs. And so for me, finding pet-friendly accommodation is difficult, but it's really important to me. And so being able to put this in there, it means that it looks at, every accommodation in the area I want to go to, and and basically matches something that's got pet-friendly reviews or content on the website or digital profile itself. So that's essentially how travelers are finding destinations and businesses currently, and this applies across all industries, not just tourism. But if we switch it on the other way and look at how exactly can businesses understand how these large language models work, they're very much black boxes, but basically trying to use AI to fit in and appear within these sort of boutique travel suggestions that AI is now coming with. And that's really where your story as a business, as a destination, as whatever, that's where it becomes really important. And it's not just about pushing out content, it's about bringing emotion and movement and content that creates a story around you, because that's what AI essentially responds to best. So the great thing is that you don't need to come up with a brand new content strategy. You don't need to create new things from scratch every single day. I'd say most operators will have this huge treasure trove of images and reviews and testimonials and, all the likes that you have. And what you can do is actually reuse these. So you can turn it into content that's, instead of static text, it might be richer, interactive, shareable via different mediums like social media or via email or newsletters, or in, like a council catalogue of destinations. So let's see an example here. So we were really lucky to work with the Northern Territory events organisation, and we were working with them on sort of not just educating how to use AI, but in particular how to leverage AI in marketing. So probably every tourism operator has a page like this. You're showcasing, a beautiful nature reserve, something that I know that's very important to Queensland, as that was spoken about. And this is what probably a lot of you have, but static images, they don't cut through the grain anymore. They're unlikely to make people stop and think and look and like. And that's essentially what AI is looking for. It's wanting to see engagement with your content, to see that you're real, but also that people want to actually engage with you. So static images, they don't really they don't really do much anymore. So what we did is we took this existing image, which is absolutely stunning, and we gave it to Google VO3, which is a video content generator model. And it was able to, and we just gave it a basic prompt of, hey, can you make this dynamic for us? And this is what it was able to do with just a very simple prompt and about a minute or two of work. So all of a sudden, you've taken an existing piece of content, you have kept the flavor, kept the brand intact, but formed it into something that performs better in social media, will more likely to make visitors stop and take a look, and is very reusable across a lot of channels. So, the evolution of storytelling, and this is where it plays into it really importantly. So we're not replacing content teams, we're really making sure that you can extend what your existing assets can do. And that's the great thing about AI. It's, like was previously said, it's not here to replace you, it's here to extend what you can do. So you don't need to spend thousands on drones and influencers and reshoots and all of that. Take what you've got and just get started. Breathe a bit of life into it. Replace your website hero image, upgrade your socials, make your content feel just a little bit more alive, because it then gets better engagement and it performs better in those AI-driven recommendation feeds that you saw just before. So, unfortunately, 15 minutes, I'd love to cover a lot more, But what I'm going to give you is sort of 3 things on the now next emerging radar that are happening with AI that are really important for the tourism industry. So first one being AI search optimization. There's no like set term for this yet, but it's basically how do I appear in a place like ChatGPT or Google AI or any of the likes, even down to your likes of Copilot or Grok. And it's really about making sure that you're addressing your customers and you're targeting the customers that matter to you. So people aren't typing anymore, best Queensland road trips. They're asking ChatGPT, where should I go for a 5-day holiday with my 2 kids, under 5, in April, that's not too hot, that has a pool for relaxation. AI is not going to return links for people to scroll through. It's going to try and give them the exact answer. And that's why your content, so your text, your metadata, your captions, your reviews, everything in your digital presence, not just your website, has to make sure it's addressing those particular parameters, the intent that customers or travelers are looking for. So the goal is not SEO anymore, it's AISO, I don't really know what the term is, but it's about being recommended, not being ranked anymore. So the second one is generative personalisation. So it's very easy to generate content with AI. You saw it before, you just plug in a prompt and it will generate something for you. But the next level of what's really coming is that mass generative personalisation. So instead of being a one-size-fits-all, it's trying to connect with customers on a one-to-one basis. I agree, this absolutely does not replace your human interaction, which is so imperative in any industry, but in particularly tourism. But the same tools that you're using to maybe help create efficiencies on a one-to-one basis, so review some grammar, write an email, that kind of thing, it can be used to scale what you're doing. So you could adapt content, it could change pricing, imagery, and tone, all for different types of travelers with different types of intent. And the cost of this has really almost dropped to zero. A ChatGPT account, I think, sets you back like $30 a month. And it would be an absolute recommendation if you're not sure where to start, because I'm a big believer in LLMs will get you 80% of the way there for anything you do. So if you want to start, attracting, if you want to start personalizing your content, have a look at it there, and then look at how you can sort of roll that out to different types of customers, especially if you're a destination or if you're a business that doesn't just look at attracting, families, but attracts couples. You might want to change how you interact and the content you produce for different audiences. So think of it like this. If you're a large operator, instead of creating one giant campaign for everyone trying to reach as many people as possible, take your idea and turn it into 20 or 30 different micro campaigns targeting different intents, different personas. Tweak your language to be that little bit more Gen Z if you want. And that's the power of sort of what's coming next. And the last one is digital companions. Obviously in Queensland, I'm unfortunate enough to live where I don't have very good reception because I live outside of Brisbane. So, this is, I guess, limited by network and accessibility in that regard. But the idea of a digital companion or a digital concierge as you travel. So all of these apps are available on your phone. You can get instant information. So instead of it being, something that you use to plan itineraries beforehand and maybe book, it's something that goes with you on the go. And that means that recommendations are being suggested to travelers will happen real time. So you also need to address things that are dynamic, like weather, like preferences, like, if there are events happening in your website, you do need to be a bit more real time with the information that you're publishing. What's really important, though, is that your business is structured for these AI systems. So making sure that your data is clear, it's current, and it's contextual. So take the opportunity to have a look at your digital presence online, not just your website, and make sure it's up to date. So I've got a little bit of homework for you all, and I love giving this out to people, and feel free to take a screenshot as well. But this is a very basic prompt that you can pop into any LLM, and it can be a free LLM too. And it will not only give you recommendations on what you can do to improve appearing in AI, but it will also give you how you can use AI to complete that. Because that's the great thing about AI. It touches so much, it's so diverse in its capability, that you can use it as an assistant to help you complete those tasks. It doesn't feel so daunting and overwhelming. My best advice, though, is to start small. Pick small things. Even if it's just updating one page on your website per week, asking ChatGPT to help you generate that content that feels a bit more personalized. Ask it, who would my best customer be and how can I tailor this better towards them? Use it as an assistant. So that's it. I'm right on the mark. I've got 1 minute to go. If I can leave you with a little bit of advice, I would definitely recommend just experimenting. It's the best way to get comfortable with AI. And my best advice is if the product is not free, you are the product. It means it's taking your data. So take the leap. If it's just yourself, or it's your small team, or even a large team, get yourself one license. Start experimenting and just start having fun. You won't achieve magic overnight, but you will learn how to interact with it. And like someone said previously, you'll be a pro in no time and you'll be very safe and secure. Awesome. Thanks so much, everyone.